Kenya. Kenya nchi yangu Kenya. Kenya nchi yangu Kenya. Kenya nchi yangu Kenya. Kenya nchi yangu Kenya.
The selection panel for DPP conducted its proceedings in an opaque manner and one that is open to question. This is our country, this is our constitution. They are not interested in implementing the constitution. We're not investigators, we're not the intelligence services. I represent the Africa Center for Open Governance, AfriCOG, which was one of the 9 civil society organizations on the inaugural steering committee which founded the OGP.
Our Kenyan MPs are some of the highest paid MPs in the world, more highly paid than countries which are much richer and better run. I think I and all my colleagues, the work we're doing, we would be doing it whether we get paid or not. AfriCOG is a civil society organization that works on issues of corruption and good governance and accountability. We also house the secretariat of the Kenyans for Peace with Truth and Justice, which is a coalition of over 30 organizations that have been working on accountability starting from the 2008 post-election violence. A lot of the benefits are intangible and they're the sort of thing that you're not going to miss until it goes away. Freedom of expression, freedom of association, all the basic rights and freedoms which civil society has been instrumental in fighting for. There's been a concerted campaign by government, very conscious and well-organized and well-funded campaign to demonize and to delegitimize civil society.
Ni Wakenya wataamua au ni NGO wataamua katika Kenya?
It would not be necessary to attack civil society if civil society wasn't making an impact, and making an impact on impunity and on corruption and on politicians' ability to do whatever they please without facing any consequences. I think if you repeat a message, it begins to gain traction, and Kenyan politicians are very adept at manipulating people.
Foreign funding is one of the tactics now against critical civil society. Everybody, every single sector in the world depends upon foreign funding. Governments, including the Kenyan regime today, depends upon foreign funding. The biggest companies which we embrace in this country have foreign funding. You never hear government criticizing them.
I think civil society should have access to a variety of funds. We should have variety of sources of funds and of resources, whether local, international, regional. We do have to account for the funds that we receive. As far as the funds coming from foreign sources, the fact of the matter is that we pay taxes as civil society. I think we're a lot more reliable in doing that than many of the politicians who like to, cast aspersions on us. Manipulating people's divisions, at manipulating ethnic differences in order to cement and solidify their positions. What AfriCOG does is to take information which is in the public domain. We're not investigators, we're not the intelligence services, and to explain it for the public, to break it down for the public in an understandable manner. So this short guide would be something that that people can read to understand what the issues are about. So we are always dependent on having access to information on these issues so that we can then break them down for the public and say, this is what happened, this is what was supposed to happen, this is who did it, these are the institutions, this is how we strengthen them, this is how we exact accountability.
Mwape mokana mafaka manyi. Mafaka utama gutugutatu. Namaigua. Murdozi yole. Mimi nataka kusema najua hapa Katoro nyinyi ni mirizi ya yangu, mimi sitaki ujinga. Nimewapatia mapaga kata mtu kama mtakati. Sio yangu sababu mimi mwenyewe. Ni yangu sababu ya kulinda ile maendeleo ambao mimi na Mheshimiwa Rais tunaleta hapa Katungu.
They actually feel that they can stand up in public, in front of cameras, and say these things. How do you actually openly incite people to violence and provide them with the weapons with which to
to implement that violence. And do you think that's okay? I am here and we are all here because we are increasingly concerned at the situation in Kenya. What we are seeing is a political class, and we must make no mistake about this. Nothing divides the parties, nothing divides the individuals. They are united by their common interest in manipulating the people of Kenya in order to gain political power, and through that to accumulate massive wealth. When you ask people, do you accept corruption? They reject it. But then I think they work with what they have, and what they have is a corrupt system. But I think the desire for a corruption-free country remains as deep as ever. The danger with corruption is when it becomes a culture, when it becomes so endemic and deep-seated it's actually a culture, and I think we've reached that point. For ordinary people, you know, giving bribes is just a routine part of their lives. Ordinary people are not doing it because they want to, they're doing it because they have to in many instances. There's an element where we're complicit in corruption as a country, but an element where we're coerced into it. And an element where we don't think anything will be done about it, so we don't We've come together to share experiences and deliberate on awareness raising and methods of enhancing an enabling environment in the extractive sector. And we hope that the deliberations and recommendations from this forum will enrich the laws and policies being developed by the government for the management of the extractive industry sector. And also we have representatives from the private sector, and we hope that this will also enrich their practices and their policies. Global trends reveal that without good governance in the extractive industries, the natural resource-rich countries, especially in Africa, risk suffering from what we all know as the resource curse, where the extraction of a country's natural resources causes significant harm rather than bringing benefits. Kenya will not be an exception to this if the country does not create an enabling environment for the industry through the enactment of conducive legal frameworks that respect good governance, accountability, and transparency and inclusiveness in the management and use of resources in the extractive sector.
Very transparency of the proceedings. They were live streamed for the most part to the entire country and indeed around the world. I think that we hope that this is a practice that the Supreme Court will hold on to. It would be really very sad if the court were, after this very bold first rule, to back down from the kind of transparency and openness to public participation, which are constitutional principles and part of our new political culture. So we very much hope that they will hold on to that. And as we said, we need to study the judgment, but we hope that the court does not shrink from being transparent and allowing the media in so that the public can understand what their Supreme Court is doing and why it's doing it and how it's doing it. So is it also an anti-corruption?
When people join civil society and join the non-profit world, whether it is in human rights, it's in development, they are basically saying, I am committed to this. That this is more than just a job.
I think I and all my colleagues, the work we're doing, we would be doing it whether we get paid or not. It's basically the lives we live. So you just do it because it's just as natural as breathing.